Hi, welcome to Girl in the Green Wellies, and this is plot walkthrough number 3. So it's the 1st of August today and everything is going great guns. We've had a period of really warm sunny weather followed by some really wet and cold weather, which has meant that a lot of the crops in the plot have put on tremendous growth. As you can see, everything is looking lush and green. The good news is that we've been able to start harvesting some of the crops, so let's go on in and have a look. So the tomatoes we're growing in the garden area are going really well, some more so than others. So the first ones I'm going to talk to you about are the ones that we've got growing in the grow bag. Now they are growing really tall, they've put on some really good growth. What I have done is I have removed the bottom section of the leaves. Now the reason I've done that is to allow greater airflow, especially with the wet and warm weather we've had. It's perfect conditions for blight, and I don't want to lose any of my tomato crops. Now I did think that one of the plants was developing blight. It had some brown spots on the leaves, so it was actually the middle one. So all I did was I just removed all the leaves which had any brown spots on that I thought looked diseased, and I got rid of them completely from the plot, and I removed the bottom half of the other plants as well. As you can see, the leaves have continued to grow really nicely. There's a couple of trusses now forming on these ones, which hopefully, fingers crossed, are going to start to develop some fruit. The tomatoes that I've got in the baskets are doing superbly. It's the first time I've grown tomatoes in hanging baskets, and I don't know why I haven't done it sooner. The tomatoes are just coming fast and furious. These ones are absolutely gorgeous. They'll have stripes, and hopefully if we get some sun they'll ripen into a nice deep red with dark stripes. So I'm hoping that these will start coming along soon. Now another part of tomato maintenance that you'll need to keep on top of, or that I need to keep on top of, is getting rid of the suckers. So the suckers are little growths that come out from like what I call the armpit of the tomato. So here we've got the branch coming out, and you can see where I've removed a sucker from there. Now up here we've got another sucker here, so all we're going to do is just use our fingers and pinch that out. All in all, the tomato wall is looking great. So the miniature fruit trees are looking green and lush. They've obviously been very attractive to something living in the park, because something's had a right good dig in pretty much every single pot. I think it's a squirrel looking for its nuts. I think I might actually get a wildlife camera, pop it somewhere so we can actually find out what it is. Going back to the trees, they, like I say, they're looking nice and green. We're going to get on top of them with some pruning when it gets closer to the winter, and we're going to get some fruit from these next year. So let's go on to the plot itself. Like I said, the recent wet weather has really improved a lot of crops on the allotment. The first one I'm going to talk to you about that we come to are the Brassicas. They have just put on so much growth over the last 4 weeks. It's got to the point now where I'm going to have to raise the net again, otherwise the cabbage butterflies are going to start laying their eggs, and the hungry caterpillar is going to be eating all my cabbages. What I'm going to do is just go down. I'm going to show you some of the vegetables, and I might even harvest a couple of kale leaves while we're here. So here we are at the brassica bed. The middle row here are the Brussels sprouts. They're going to end up getting really tall. Only about 3 or 4 weeks ago they were only about that high with only a few leaves, but the weather has really paid dividends for them. The kale along here, I'm actually going to take some leaves, so you can let kale grow and grow, but I like to use it as a cut and come again crop, and purely probably because I'm the only one in the house that likes to eat it. So harvesting all of the plants at one time is just going to be too much kale for anyone to handle in one go. So what I'm going to do is just get down and get a couple of leaves while I'm here. It's actually a Sunday today, so it's going to do well for our Sunday dinner. All I'm going to do is just cut the leaf just that big, and we'll take maybe 2 or 3 of these along the row, and that'll be great for my dinner. So there's the kale that I'm taking home for my Sunday dinner today. We'll pop that in the pot. The next patch over that we've got is the pumpkin patch. So we've got Crown Prince pumpkins in here. Now I do feel that they're slightly later than I would have liked them to be. I think the weather hasn't helped them too much over the last 4 weeks, but I'm really pleased to see that they're now starting to flower. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll start to see a little bit of pollination and the fruits start to form on these. Behind me we've got the massive courgette bed. I am so pleased with these at the moment. They are just coming along like no tomorrow. I did actually harvest my very first courgette yesterday, and even coming back today there are 2 more ready to be harvested. They're only small, but I don't want them to be too big, because I find that when they're small they're a lot juicier, they're just nice to have. They taste a whole lot fresher as well, straight from the plot. Hopefully these will continue to produce courgettes over the next couple of months, and we'll be in for a steady supply of them too. So I'm just going to go down and have a quick look at the courgettes. Like I said, I was here yesterday. I got my first one yesterday morning, and there was a couple more that looked like they were just on the cusp. I'm just going to have a check. You've got to keep hot on courgettes, because if you leave them 2 or 3 days they'll turn into marrows. So let's have a little look and we'll see where we are. Okay, so there's one underneath here which has got a little flower on. I am going to leave that one actually, I think, for a couple more days. I just want that one to be a little bit bigger. But you can see here, this is going to be a courgette. It's got an open courgette flower waiting for pollination. So in a week or 2, that's going to be perfect for eating. Behind the courgettes, in amongst the jungle, we have some French beans. So here, you can see the French beans just starting to grow. Again, in a couple of weeks' time, they'll be going on our Sunday dinner too. I'm going to move on to the pumpkins. Now, like I said, they are looking a little bit behind, but there are loads of flowers on these, which is really good to see. While I'm here, I think I'm going to take off just some of the dead leaves. That'll put all the energy into the fruiting part of the plant. So the strawberry patch, or what's going to be the bumper strawberry patch next year, we're getting a second crop of strawberries from, and they are just a small plants, just a couple of small ones. They're starting to produce the strawberries. The first crop of strawberries were delicious, but the slugs and snails ended up eating more than we did. So for next year, I'm going to come up with a way to try and snail and slug proof the strawberries. But these ones are coming along nicely. We've also got the self-seeded borage coming back here as well, which is going to be great for pollinators and bees. So moving down into the next couple of beds, we've got the sweet corn. Now, I'd pretty much given up all hope of the sweet corn, but I am thrilled to see that the tops have started producing the pollen part of the plant, and on a couple of them here you can see there's tassels forming. Now that means there's going to be an ear of corn growing in there, which I cannot wait to see when it comes through. What will happen is the pollen will come from the tops and fall down and pollinate the cob down below. So I'm really pleased to see there's a couple of plants which have got those on, so I might get enough for a barbecue one day. Moving further down, we have got the kohlrabi in the front, which is, again, with the recent wet weather, has put on loads of growth. And then we've got the peas. There are loads of peas here to pick. So I need something to go with my kale. Let's pick some pods. So we've got loads of really nice firm pea pods here. And when you're harvesting peas, I always try and like to harvest from the bottom upwards. So let's have a look down here and see what we've got. Oh, they feel good. That feels like a good one. Oh, that's good there. So that one's just not quite ready, so I'm going to leave that one. Let's see what we've got in the back. Oh, there's a good one. There. Right, so I'm going to put these in my pot. So I remember popping these when I was young. My granddad used to grow peas at his back garden, and we used to pop them from the bottom and eat them straight from the pod. So let's do that now. So from the bottom, just give a little bit of pressure and a little pop. All you need to do is run your finger just along the back, and that will open to reveal the most delicious sweet peas you'll ever have. Again, I can't resist eating one straight from the pod. Really sweet. All the natural sugar is lost. Sorry, they're too good. All the natural sugar is lost after picking, so eating them as quickly as you can after harvesting them means you're going to get all the flavour. So the next bed we've come to after the corn and the peas are the potatoes. We've already harvested a row of potatoes. They were the international kidney potatoes, which were delicious. Again, I wasn't too sure whether they were doing okay with the warm, moist conditions. I didn't know whether they were going to end up or be really susceptible to blight. So I harvested the whole row all in one go. Usually what I try and do with potatoes like this, I grow second earlies. I try and just harvest them as I need them. So what I'm going to do today is I've actually started harvesting the Anya potatoes. We had some of those yesterday. They were delicious. I'm going to take some of the next row over. So these are rat potatoes. I'm going to just pull up a plant. I'm going to see how they're doing because they can go a little bit bigger. So I don't mind leaving the rest of them in the ground for another couple of weeks to put on a little bit more growth. So let's go on in and we'll have a look and we'll see how they're doing. So we've got the first potato plant here. They are quite big, so what I'm going to do is kind of come in at the side with my fork because I don't want to spear the potatoes if I can help it. But let's get on in and we'll see what we've got. Now, that looks like the first one there. We're just going to lift the plant up just gently, gently as we go. Oh, I can already see. Beauty, perfect size, nice and small, excellent for just boiling as it is. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, perfect. So these are great. Ideally, I would like to harvest when they are, or when the ground is a bit drier, just because it means that the potatoes come out a lot cleaner, but this is all right. And that's perfect for your Sunday dinner. I've just been trying to take the fork out the ground when we switched the camera off, and there's actually loads more potatoes in the ground. I'm going to have a quick look. Wow! I think that might be it. Oh no! Crikey, there's loads. Wow, wow, wow. This is one of the reasons why I absolutely love growing potatoes, because you never know what you're going to get underneath the ground. Loads of golden nuggets of joy. So the last part of the plot we've got are the purple sprouting broccoli, the tomatoes and the pot potatoes. The purple sprouting broccoli again is put on really good growth over the last couple of weeks, and this will get taller, but we're not expecting to harvest this probably until around January, February, March time next year. So the growth that it's put on there at the moment is great for this time of year. The tomatoes that I've got growing in the ground in this section are going really well. They are really strong, healthy looking plants. Again, similarly to the tomatoes at the front part of the allotment, I've removed the bottom half of the leaves about a third of the way up, again just to increase the airflow, to make sure, it's particularly because tomatoes and potatoes are the same family, they both will be affected by blight if the conditions are right, and I don't want to lose me potatoes or my tomatoes. So to increase the airflow, what I've done is just remove the bottom half of the leaves and made sure that there is plenty of room in between. The pot potatoes are pretty much ready to come up. I'm not going to harvest these ones probably for another couple of weeks. So again, to make sure that we don't get any diseases on them and ruin all the good work that they've done, all I'm going to do is just remove the leaves. Now the potatoes will keep in the soil in the pot until we're ready. It just means that they're not going to get any bigger. So again, I would rather have lots of smaller potatoes than big potatoes which potentially are eaten by slugs or are diseased. So all I'm going to do is just remove the top couple of leaves like that. Oh, and the bindweed comes. I'm going to continue doing this. Before I let you go though, I am just going to show you our first outdoor actual tomato. I only noticed it yesterday when I was down here, and I don't know how I haven't seen it before, because it's a beauty. These tomatoes are San Marzano tomatoes, which are going to be perfect for making rich tomato sauces to go with pasta or on pizza or for soups. They're really juicy and they don't have a lot of seeds, so these ones are great for sauces. So let's go in and we'll have a look. It's actually on this plant here, just at the back. We've got a teeny San Marzano tomato. I don't think we're going to get an awful lot of sauce from it, but no, I'm delighted that it's there. So technically this is Andy's plot, but I've hijacked a little section of it for the cucumbers. You can see they're growing really well. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it is Andy's section and he should really be the one to tell you about it. But between me and you, they're looking good. So there we are, walk through number 3, done and dusted. Potatoes harvested, Sunday dinner on the way. Don't forget, if you like the videos, give us a big thumbs up, subscribe on the link below. Just finishing off at the pond here, if you want to see how we rejuvenated this area, click on the link above to see the latest update. Thanks very much for watching guys, and we'll see you soon.